Over the past couple of years, I've really started to pay more attention to the clothing that I'm buying and where I'm buying it from, and this has resulted in me getting better quality pieces and a wardrobe that I'm happier with. It's also helped me save money in the long run because I'm having to replace my clothing a lot less, and who doesn't like saving money? So in this video, I wanted to talk about what I look out for when I'm buying my clothing, and hopefully it can help you out and help you make some better decisions in the future. Now, just to mention, I'm still not perfect. I still make mistakes when it comes to buying clothing, but I've learned a lot over the last few years, and I want to share that with you. If you like this video at any point, please do drop it a like, and now that's all out the way, let's get into the video. So firstly, one of the best ways to shop is to buy secondhand. You can get some amazing quality pieces for some really decent prices, and you're helping to protect the environment at the same time by reducing waste. Two birds, one stone. There's not really any downsides to shopping secondhand, and there's so many sites out there nowadays like Depop, eBay, and Grailed that it makes it really easy to do it from the comfort of your own home on your mobile telephone. But I'm aware not a lot of people like to buy from Depop because sometimes they get sent the wrong item or the wrong sized item or a faulty item, for example. So if you prefer, you can go into town, hit up your local charity shops or vintage stores and shop there. These days, a lot of people are selling clothing that's still got the tags on, it hasn't even been worn, so I'd recommend looking secondhand first because you can save yourself a lot of money that way. But if you can't find the piece that you're after secondhand, then don't worry, we'll talk about buying new now. So the first thing that's always a good idea is to check out the brand that you're buying from first. Are they using good quality materials? Are they doing their bit to become more sustainable? And are they an ethical brand? Now, everyone loves a bargain, including myself, but when something seems too good to be true, it often is. Normally, the cheaper the clothing, the more corners have been cut to reduce the cost for the consumer. So they often do this by using poor quality materials or not paying their workers properly who are making your clothing. But a website that I like to use to find all of this information out is called goodonyou.eco, I think it's called. But I'll link it down in the description. But you can search for the brand that you're interested in buying from, and it will tell you how sustainable they are and how ethical they are. So it's a really useful tool. Now, no brand out there are perfect, but it's always nice to have an idea of who you're buying from, and if they're making more of an effort to try and change. But the downside from buying from more sustainable brands is the cost for the consumer. If a brand is sourcing good quality materials and it's paying their workers properly, then it's going to cost them more money. So that means that they're going to have to sell their clothing at a higher price to cover their costs and to make themselves a bit of profit so they can continue doing what they want to do in the future. But in return, you're getting better quality clothing that's going to last you longer. So think of it as price per wear rather than the initial cost. As these products are made from better quality materials and they're made better, you're going to have to replace them a lot less frequently, saving you money in the long run. But I'm aware everyone's budget for clothing looks different, so just do the best that you can. It's also worth mentioning that more expensive doesn't always mean better quality. There's definitely a sweet spot. And beyond that, you're normally just paying for the name. Do I sometimes spend too much on my clothing just for the name? Of course I do. Sometimes I can't help myself. But I just want you to be aware. So the next thing that I want to talk about is the materials to look out for in your clothing. So for me personally, I like to look out for more heavyweight materials because I think they hold their shape better, they last longer, and they just feel better quality. So for example, for t-shirts, this is anything over 200 GSM, and for hoodies and sweatshirts, it's around the 500 GSM mark. Of course, in the summer, when it's really hot outside, I don't want to be wearing heavyweight materials, so I do opt for some lightweight options too. But when I'm buying my clothing, I like to look for materials like organic cotton, wool, and lyocell's a good one as well. And I try and avoid things like acrylic, polyester, and nylon, for example, because they're bad for the environment and they're hard to dispose of. They also don't tend to hold up as well either. These days, a lot of companies out there are recycling these materials that are hard to dispose of to create new pieces to avoid waste. So I would buy a piece of clothing that's made from recycled polyester, for example, because otherwise it would just take up landfill space or produce toxic emissions from incinerators. So recycled polyester, yes. Brand new polyester, thumbs down from me. But that website Good On You that I talked about earlier, it lists a load of different materials used in the fashion industry, and it talks about the ones to go for, the ones that are good, and the ones to avoid. So if you want any more information, check out that website. Again, I'll leave it in the description box. And another factor that plays a huge role in whether I buy an item or not is how versatile that item is. So if I'm spending more money on my clothing, then I want something that's timeless so I can wear it for years to come and get my money's worth. And this is why I choose to buy a lot of simple clothing in neutral colours, because it's timeless, it never goes out of style, it goes with anything, so I can get a lot of wear out of it. That means I also have to replace my wardrobe a lot less, and I save a lot more money in the long run as well. The other thing that's always in my mind when I buy a piece of clothing is, will that item hold its value? Sometimes, no matter how much you love an item of clothing when you first buy it, there's always a chance that you might go off it in the future. Maybe your style changes, or maybe you just want to make some room in your wardrobe for something new. But for whatever the reason, it's always good to have a piece of clothing that holds its value so you can sell it on and make a large chunk of your money back. And then the money that you get back from that piece, you can put towards another piece, and then it's not going to seem so expensive because you've already put a large chunk of money towards it. Decent quality, simple pieces are always in demand, and people out there will always pay a decent amount of money for them. And this is why I don't get worried when I buy something expensive, because I've done my research, I know that piece of clothing holds its value, so I know if I sell it, I'm going to get the majority of my money back. And whatever I lose, then I just count it as price per wear. But you've probably noticed it, if you go into any fashion shop and they've got a sale on, then in the sale, it's often the really bright, in-your-face pieces. It's very rarely the simple, basic, neutral pieces. Now, as I said at the start of the video, I'm still not perfect when it comes to buying clothing, I still make mistakes, and I've still got a lot to learn. But I think by thinking along these lines, I've made a lot better decisions. I always struggle to say that word. And also, if I've forgotten anything or there's anything that you look out for when buying your clothing, then let me know in the comments. But I hope you've learned something from this video and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave the video a like. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See you later.